The Weed Porn Daily podcast is brought to you by a noisy bed of background noise or something.
That's not me. That's you.
I'm
It's
not
your desk chair.
I'm saying it's like a bed of noise,
Oh.
like underneath. Look at you, getting all accusatory. Why are you blaming me? Shifting around on the bed. Buy me a computer chair. The Weed Porn Daily podcast is brought to you by the Weed Porn Daily Stoner Shop. We sell hemp wicks, lowest price you'll find around, highest quality you'll find around. We've got weed socks, the most affordable out there, man. We've got rolling papers and even prints of some of our more popular designs up there. All that available at WeedPornDaily.com/shop. Head over there for, I said it, socks, wicks, papers, all that, son. Check it out. We ship internationally. We've got a bunch of Canadian people who are interested in our product. UK.
I think we had our first New Zealand recently.
We've been getting more New Zealand buyers. I don't know where from. Like one hobbit hole to the next or something.
Wait, I thought, wasn't there, where was it that we both were like, oh my gosh, they must be from like the same place. Oh no, that was somewhere in California, I think. Yeah, never mind.
But yeah, plenty of international orders. Get your international weed game on. Well, weed sock game or weed product game. You get me, son. WeedPornDaily.com/shop. Use the coupon code PODCAST for 10% off for listening to the podcast. For being one of those lucky few that got orally beat down by the Grouch. That's your reward, a coupon. And if you're interested in advertising, of course, with the Weed Porn Daily podcast, head over to WeedPornDaily.com/advertise, or you can hit us up at contact@WeedPornDaily.com and we will send you a advertising kit that is a nice little PDF, little booklet thingy with all of our advertising plans, all the pricing, and information regarding our, website statistics and our cred, so street cred. So all that available at WeedPornDaily.com/advertising, really, yeah. And that's it. I'm done. I gotta take the nipple clamps off. The whoring is done.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
Did we talk about Society 6?
I guess. I don't know. I don't really pimp that anymore. If you find Society 6, it's there. We have like weed pillows and weed hoodie. Like there's so much shit that it would take a whole other podcast to list it. Society6.com/WeedPornDaily. Check it out. Something. But hope you got your bowls packed, your hash nails heated, your edibles consumed prior to the podcast because it takes a little bit to kick in. I hope your e-nails are properly calibrated and heated up to the proper thing, and hope you've Instagrammed all the weed and the bowls and the hash and all that before you consume it, because it kind of sucks when you're like, damn, this is the finest nug I've gotten, or this is like some of the clear shatter I've ever gotten, and you smoke it all and you actually haven't documented it, and it's like, fuck, did it ever really exist? Yeah. Luckily this week we have got weed. We had like 2 weeks or so where we were weedless. Struggling is another way to put it. But we've got a bowl here packed of some dank, funky haze.
I don't think people will understand. It is awesome. It is so good.
It was like a nice reward after having like weeks and weeks of just mids and then no weed, and it was terrible. But we were blessed by the ganja gods, and we were given some of the some stuff that we've had before. It's really funky, but this time around it was growing really well. It was really potent. And I don't know if it was our tolerance. It was probably our lack of tolerance. But the first time we smoked it, we just went to outer space. We'll talk about that later. That was a pretty cool experience. But yeah, let's get this party started. Hope you have your hemp wicks. How about that? I should mention that. Fucking real flavor up in this piece. Only need a lighter for the lighting process. I'd use an eco flame if I could. Cheers. Tasty.
I got a really good shot. I'm gonna put it up now.
Welcome to the WeedPornDaily podcast. Oof, I'm Grouch, the editor, owner, the dude with the dank. I'm here with the lovely executive producer, Mrs. WeedPornDaily.
Hey, what's up? Good afternoon, or good evening, really.
You caught her Instagramming. She's a little busy right now. She's up on WPD on Twitter and Instagram, and she likes to tweet the behind the scenes of the podcast.
And giving me nothing to speak about. I can wait.
You're busy.
I was like waiting. So impatient. Hurt my feelings. Yeah.
Well, now what?
Well, yeah,
Did
I
take
post.
all the words out of your mouth?
Yeah, now what am I supposed to talk about?
I don't know.
I post about what goes on in the office. Mostly pictures of him smoking. I'm about to post another one of him smoking.
Me smoking. That was a nice shot. Us making food.
Yeah, what we eat.
Doing orders.
Doing orders. If you want to see your order possibly like happening.
Yeah, check out the feed.
Mm-hmm.
But as always, follow us, WeedPornDaily.com. Every social network, we've got Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, all of them, WeedPornDaily. The only one that we haven't snagged is Instagram. Fucking Instagram. That's at Conja Grouch. So we've got some news. We've got a lot of news to talk about. Big week in Washington. Kind of went out with a fizzle. Everyone was expecting it.
So mean.
Well, it was just everyone was expecting this big boom of recreational marijuana. You know, we saw the similar like C4-esque bomb, very controlled explosion go off in Colorado, and we saw the kind of wave of taxes and all the just everything, all the positivity coming out of that, the acceptance from the community, and you know, the revenue, and just the regulation paying off. There were a lot of factors that played into the Colorado recreational system rolling out perfectly, and Washington kind of fumbled out of the gate, and we're going to be able to talk about that today. We wrote up a extensive guide to Washington's legal recreational marijuana game, or whatever you want to call it. You can find all of the pot shops that have been licensed, so you can call them up, see if they're open, first of all, and see if, second of all, how much their weed is, because it may range from $10 to $30 a gram.
So you better be bringing stacks with you, and you're going.
Just be prepared, and this will help you be prepared. So let's dig into the fucking news. If you'd like to follow along, hit up the podcast post, and I have a list of all the news articles there. Or if you want to go to the website and look for the news, you can go to news.weedporndaily.com. You can hit the news button up top. You can search for the news through the tags corresponding with the states or certain things like activism, crime, or legalized space it. Yeah. Or use the Google search. There you go. It's done. Alright. So we're going to do it in reverse order because that's just how we're rolling today. This was an interesting article coming in from the Miami Herald, and it's very rare for any kind of Florida news to be this in-depth. I was very, very surprised. It's very hard to tell what's going on there because nobody reports
adequately.
Yeah. So, from the Miami Herald, looking for a author here. Mary Ellen Class.
That sounds familiar.
Oh, I think we've read her stuff before and criticized it. I think we read her last CBD article. But moving on.
What a beginning.
Yeah, not a good start. Family creates company to bring medical marijuana drug, Charlotte's Web, to Florida. The parents of Rayanne Mosley, the Pensacola child with intractable epilepsy, whose stories soften the hearts of reluctant lawmakers, are fighting a new battle, getting Charlotte's Web to Florida. The Mosleys have formed a company to apply to be one of the 5 medical marijuana dispensaries under the new law that allows for the cultivation for marijuana low in THC, the chemical that provides the high, and high in CBD, the one that calms seizures. They say their motives are pure, to guarantee the strain that worked miracles in Colorado is available in Florida, and to avoid the risk of having to rely on imitations. Interesting.
Like imitations?
Yeah, we've talked about that. Dixie Elixirs making kind of crude hemp extracts and then overpricing them and claiming that they're going to cure seizures when, you kind of maybe need a little more THC in there or just a different strain that isn't just from hemp, But yeah, it's funny that they mentioned that. I'm only ready to try something that's working and is safe, said Holly Mosley, mother of Ray Ann. But their efforts face hurdles and critics. The Mosleys are partnering with the Stanley brothers, the family that went from obscure Colorado marijuana farmers to international miracle workers when the mother of Charlotte Figi used the extract of their plants to treat her daughter with intractable epilepsy. Their partnership with the Mosleys, if successful, threatens to edge out others who also seek business potential in Florida's new cash crop. Very interesting. The Stanley brothers are the guys from American Weed, the National Geographic, I think, show that was based in the medical marijuana scene in Colorado, and specifically Boulder, where it's kind of like a more conservative town. And they actually the show followed the process of the Stanley brothers actually having to close their dispensary because they had local legislation changed and the people voted against having dispensaries in their county or city or whatever. But they also, featured the CBD medicine and the CBD plants and how they were helping children with epilepsy. It's a very common theme in any weed show. They had it in Weed Wars. They had Jamie, I think the kid's name was, a little kid, and they would give him a tincture, a CBD tincture, and that would help him. And then there was one in the Japanese Vice doc we saw. There was one in what was it? Kayla, she's a Vice. That's another Vice doc. Like it's a really big trend right now with kids in CBD medicine. I'm saying this because specifically, we're gonna talk about later how they're saying Charlotte's Web is like the key. Like this has been proven to work. When on Weed Wars, they've shown that they've used just a high CBD strain that they've developed themselves called Harlequin. Well, not developed themselves, but it's just one that's been popularized over there. And Harlequin has been proven as well to be successful. And I'm sure if you go to the CBD project, if you're interested at all in CBD, you can find a list of all the strains that are high in CBD, like Sour Tsunami, Harlequin, Charlotte's Web, obviously, fucking anything that's like, what is it, Ruderalis, like Rough Rider, I think was one, or Chem, something, whatever. I'm just throwing stuff out there now. But, yeah, fucking Stanley Brothers, American Weed, that was my point. Let's keep moving. At a hearing to develop the rules for growing, cultivating, and dispensing the legal marijuana last week, several cannabis experts and entrepreneurs dismissed the notion that Charlotte's Web is unique. The testimony was speculative, but presenters said it is one of several high CBD strains that could be developed to treat epilepsy. The Stanleys' claim is, through trial and error, they have come across a strain that is especially effective for intractable epilepsy, but others are saying the same thing, said Kerry Hendon, who owns a nursery in Apopka. He said he has been approached by several people, including the Stanleys, who claim to have unique strains high in CBD and want to partner with his nursery. Who knows? How can you tell? He said. Everybody's got an agenda, and it's all financial, and it's stomach-turning. Charlotte's Web is trademark owned by Stanley Brothers, who became famous last August by a CNN report by special reporter Sanjay Gupta, featuring the 7-year-old child Charlotte Figi. After 2 years of taking a marijuana extract, she has become nearly seizure-free, and the Stanleys called their low-THC, high-CBD strain Charlotte's Web. Like many families who have heard the story, the Mosleys traveled to Colorado, met Charlotte and the Stanleys, and vowed to find a way to legalize the drug in Florida. After months of working to see the unimaginable, a bill to legalize a strain of marijuana intended to help their child, the unexpected occurred in the form of a surprise amendment to the marijuana bill. The amendment, which emerged in the final hours of the legislative session, requires that 5 dispensaries licensed to grow and sell marijuana be nurseries in Florida for at least 30 years. Pause for effect. The intent was clear. Outsiders like the Stanley were not going to be allowed to set up shop unless they partnered with someone already here. They now have to make a deal with the evil growers who have manipulated the politics, Hendon said facetiously. The Mosleys say they understand that Charlotte's Web is just one of the high CBD strains known, but it's a strain with a track record. This has never been about the money, Holly Mosley said. All along, our goal has been to get Charlotte's Web for Rayanne, whether that has to be that was moving to Colorado or fighting to make it legal here. I thought this was really interesting. We're gonna skip past this. There was a politician who said something so salacious.
Oh no.
That I couldn't believe that a politician would say that. Why don't you just find a way to get this stuff into Florida illegally? Representative Matt Gaetz asked Peyton Mosley at a January legislative workshop on legalizing pot that is high in CBD. First of all, Florida is our home, but we're not willing to break the law even to help our daughter, Peyton answered. And there are so many parents who are in the same situation. If we leave, that's one less voice for everyone else who's suffering. Is it the same guy? No, another Republican said that, so fuck that, whatever. But basically, some guy was just like, hey man, why don't you just break the law? Why are we here trying to change the law? Why don't you just go break it, risk it, and bring us some more tax money in through the justice system? Come on, bro. Why are you wasting our time here? I want to just twiddle my thumbs and do nothing. Why am I doing my job at a legislative session? Oh. Yeah.
Did you read the rest of the article?
What? Sorry. Was I supposed to?
I mean, it shows one significant thing.
What?
He has a change of heart.
I don't think that was the same guy.
It is the same guy. Gaetz. And then it says later, he gets misty eyes. He says, I don't know how many people, blah, 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 they're willing to do this and then still respect our laws if they're, like, you know, willing to break them.
Whatever, bro. Whatever. He's just trying to get, like, he's just trying to backtrack on what he just fucking said.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm just saying. Just saying.
Yeah, he made a little statement. I'm not surprised. He's a politician. He had the gall to come out and ask them that. You know? Like, what kind, maybe I need context, but moving on, you could really dig into this article if you're looking into the real details of the CBD goings on in Florida. Like, the parents have developed a non-for-profit company, and then the CBD law requires you to be a for-profit company. So they actually had to make a new company that was a for-profit LLC, and then they're pairing with the Stanleys, and they're gonna try to bring the strain over. Blah blah blah. I don't know. It raises the topic of, you know, the big corporations, quote unquote, coming into cannabis. You know, because of how restrictive the legislation has become, and because of how ridiculous the legislation is. In the previous article I think we read, they're going to require, first of all, they require you to have a nursery that's over 30 years in the, like, established. Like, that's fucking ridiculous. You're going to have to find some ancient fucking nursery that's been handed down by family. Who knows what they've had to do to keep that thing, like, alive. Like, maybe they aren't necessarily a good company. They're just one that has scraped by, like, for 30 years. I don't know. Or they've become like a monopoly at that point. There are just so many things that are questionable about that. Not only that, but they're going to have to throw down a massive amount of money, I'm sure, to get a license. Just all of these factors are what inhibit, like, a true, I guess, capitalist fucking society, man. Like, I guess it is. This is a capitalist society. So just a true free market. You know, like, we have so many of these CBD strains out there. You can literally just fucking order them off of the internet. But for some reason, we have to go through the Stanley brothers. For some reason, we have to like deal with, like, these third parties, when I could just, like, point this family to the fucking internet, have them order it to their house, and start growing this, and have their friends grow it, and stop muddling around with 5 dispensaries for Florida. Like, the whole state is just gonna get 5, so you're gonna have to travel a good amount of distance to get your medicine. Yeah. There's just so many shitty things about this, and this article highlights kind of the shitty things about legalization. But these are, like, as much as I say it's the shitty things about legalization, this is what pokes holes and allows the sheet to tear over time, and allows us to actually have the free markets and actually have freedom. So speaking of frustrating shit and,
what is Lara?
And legislation, Lara is the fucking...
This is not defined here.
It's the... I'll read it, don't worry. Lara. Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs. Lara. But this is posted by the Weed Blog, written by Rick Thompson from the Medical Marijuana Policy? Or no, that's just what it's categorized. It's from the Compassion Chronicles, I'm sorry. Don't want to butcher someone's brand, bro. Although you won't find it announced in any press release or on the government's website, big changes are being proposed for Michigan's medical marijuana program, MMP, by the government agency charged with overseeing the state's 150,000 registered patients. Changes to the language of the Medical Marijuana Act must be approved through the legislature and those approvals require a supermajority vote in both the House and Senate. That's a tough path to travel, so the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs, LAURA, proposes to manipulate the administrative rules instead. LAURA submitted the proposed changes for the MMP to the Secretary of State earlier this year, along with a regulatory impact statement and cost-benefit analysis. Some of the proposed changes include making Michigan's MMP the first in the nation to go completely electronic and refuse any paper applications, discarding all discounted rates on MMP registration fees given to Medicaid and SSI recipients, reducing the 2-year fee from $100 to $60, changing the composition of the new conditions panel, giving them 4-year terms, and cutting the public input on adding new illnesses from 60 days to just 5. Establish new registration fees for caregivers, eliminating many of the acceptable forms of personal identification, including military identification, tribal identification, and permanent resident alien identification cards.
How fascinating.
Very, very specific changes here.
These are all things that are very culturally relevant to Michigan.
You think so?
100%.
I didn't realize they
the idea
had
of a
tribal
permanent
people
resident alien identification, like Michigan is right off of Canada.
there. Damn it, eh?
And then also the idea that it's I'm sure tribal identification also is in reference to people coming in from Canada.
And military too. I'm sure there's a military presence there as well. Just a lot of striking changes here.
But the idea that what was it? It said given to Medicaid and SSI recipients.
Yeah.
That was very interesting, and the idea that it's the fees are going lower, but they're just adding more fees, even though the 2-year fee is lower.
Yeah, they were.
So it's they're not.
I was trying to work it out, because they were one of the first states to actually offer a discount for lower income people, essentially, or just, I guess, Medicaid is like insurance, right? Whatever. You get the point. They gave you a discount. Not too many states do that. But now they're basically having almost the
original fee, but then even though they're having it, they're also saying that now we're also going to add certain fees for registrations, in addition to it's gonna
caregivers.
Well, just for caregivers, and we don't also know the some of these 4-year terms and what they include, Yeah. So we're you're probably gonna end up paying $100 anyways, just in a different form. Yeah.
Well, the changes are proposed for every section of the current administrative rules, and some sections are set to be eliminated completely, but the biggest change will be abandoning of paperwork in the registration process. This change to a paperless system is driven from the department's failure to adequately process paper applications and change forms in the past, and the impact statement carries this phrase: "There are no other states that explicitly require, or to the department's knowledge, utilize an electronic registration system." The department also recognizes that this will not be satisfactory for those that are not computer savvy, including the elderly, the disabled, and the poor. Residents of rural areas with inconsistent internet service may complain about needing to submit applicants online, the impact statement acknowledges. A public hearing to discuss the proposed changes will take place on Wednesday, July 16th at 2 p.m. in the G. Menon Williams Building, 525 West Ottawa at Pine Street. Happy 7/10. So that's tomorrow in our time. It should be today podcast time. It's happening probably right now as you're hearing this. Run down there. Right now. Go.
Burst through the room.
You're like, what? Oh shit! I forgot. I'm listening to the podcast a week late, eh?
I gotta go back.
Gotta go back. Alright. Moving along to some good news. Illinois. You know, they never call it Illinois. It's like Chicago. Like, then it's like the rest of Illinois doesn't matter. It's just what happens in Chicago is the only thing.
Chicago is like a large epicenter for Illinois.
I guess.
Like, it's like, you know, you have Chicago, and then you have all the burbs, and you just kind of, but all radiate out from it, and they kind of disband, and then those like sub neighborhoods become like their own.
So it's basically like New York. You're referring to New York, and you're like, oh, it's like New York, right? And you just assume. So Chicago patients could start using medical marijuana in early 2015.
Freaking out.
This comes to us from the Sun-Times. On Tuesday, lawmakers who make up the obscure but powerful Joint Committee on Administrative Rules are meeting in Chicago to discuss the rules that would implement the Illinois medical cannabis pilot program.
Oh, I totally dig it.
If the committee has no objections, the rules can officially be put to use, and the process to begin registering patients, dispensers, and growers can begin. People with debilitating medical conditions seeking to use medical marijuana will be able to apply for a registry identification card beginning in September, Morgan said, though the application process will be staggered. Applications for those seeking to sell or grow pot will be out at the same time, Morgan said. Then state officials will have to decide who gets limited business permits for locations throughout the state. 60 for dispensaries and 21 for marijuana growers.
Not bad for the size of the state.
Yeah, you
Not
think
bad
so?
at all. No.
Sounds good. Good news, Colorado.
Especially because Chicago has such an efficient transportation system. Like,
yeah, you can't really complain about having to travel a little distance.
Yeah, like if anything, you might get an express train and it's gonna save you half the time. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah.
Just checking the post to see if there were any significant
notes or
reblog.
comments.
Yeah, comments, but no.
Nothing.
Just 260 notes. People loving it. This was some interesting little tidbit news kind of thing.
Little factoid.
Slate. Visitors are driving the Colorado's legal weed boom. Using a combination of sales tax receipt information, point of sale statistics, and data from county tourist offices, it is possible to impute visitor demand. For example, we estimate the purchases by out-of-state visitors currently represent about 44% of metro area retail sales and about 90% of retail sales in heavily visited mountain communities. So, can you imagine fucking Aspen? 90% all tourists just buying weed up.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. You're on vacation, you're drinking, let me smoke a little, let me hit the mountain, let me hit the fucking buffet, like...
Go to the spa.
Chill. Yeah, there's so many good reasons to smoke. But fascinating statistics to see. You know, it makes people question that once weed is legal in other states, will we see the same kind of boom? And I think so, honestly.
Oh,
because Colorado will always have tourists.
Yeah, and then if you think about it, like we have Seattle. Seattle has a great tourism industry because of the mountains and the kind of hiking trails and things that they have. And then California as well, the redwood forest, and you know they have their own like whole entire like state full of like beautiful diverse ecosystems. And then you go to things like Vancouver, BC, like you have Whistler like right up north of them, and it's just like all these like places are getting these boosts of tourism, and they're already popular like cities. Yeah.
And you have to consider that even though other states legalize, they get tourism from like international as well. People are coming in from other countries where it's like not going to be legal for a long time, I assume, in comparison to the U.S.
Like people coming into California, people coming in from Seattle, from Asia, and then we have like Florida and South Florida with like South America. These are like major hubs of like the world.
So I just see the commerce continuing. You know, people expect to see this downfall in taxes, like Colorado's raking in millions and millions, and when everyone legalizes, it's gonna dwindle significantly. And I don't necessarily know, man. As the game opens up even more and more companies are allowed to sell, they're gonna make more money, and as more products get out there and more entrepreneurs get into there's just so many aspects to it that are gonna increase sales. So it was nice to see those kind of statistics being run. Some more good news.
It just makes me think of Jody.
From cannabis culture, there's a smoky celebration in East Vancouver today, ahead of Mark Emery's release from prison. July 9th is the official end of Mark Emery's 5-year sentence for selling marijuana seeds to customers in the U.S. To mark the occasion, a smoky celebration is planned for 4 p.m. at Cannabis Culture headquarters at 307 West Hastings Street. However, Vancouver's Prince of Pot isn't actually scheduled for release until July 10th, at which point he will be transferred from Yazoo City Prison in Mississippi into the custody of U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. Yazoo doesn't release inmates on Wednesdays. That's the problem with prison. I don't know if you guys have ever had any interaction with prison or anything like that, but when you're actually released from prison, the court will say like, oh, the day you get released is July 9th, and that's great. But if you actually have to get some sort of transportation or service where the prison moves you or anything like that, those happen on scheduled days. They're not going to just like taxi you on your fucking demand. So if you're not released on that day, you have to wait a couple more days. And then not only that, but now Emery is going to have to spend his time in the immigration offices and just wait until they release him. It's just a game of just how long they want to keep him.
Well, they were. Jody was on. We were able to see this.
We were watching
the actual recording of it all.
Live stream of the day.
Yeah, and Jody was saying that even though he gets out on July 9th, he's actually going to be home and settled on July 29th. And it was going to be a full 20 days before he could actually be home and safe. If everything went according to plans,
yeah.
Yes.
But she was also joking that, he's a free man, so she wonders if they're going to keep him even in a cell, or, if he's going to be like, hey, I don't want to eat this prison food. Hey, let's have some pizza or something.
Well, didn't he have a pizza party?
He had like a celebratory tomato onion pizza. But yeah, if you want to check out all of that, some teary-eyed moments from Jody, as well as all of the fucking staff, it was just really, you could just feel the vibe. Everybody just wants him to come home. That's all over at Pot TV on YouTube. They have all of the live streams posted there. But soon, Mark Emery should be coming home, man. Good fucking news. We have one of our heroes finally coming back to us. We had Tommy Chong fucking taken away for a little bit there, and we got him back. And now we're finally going to get Mark back. And it'll be interesting to see how it'll come into play with Canadian politics now. They have a lot of movements going on. Maybe Jody running for MP or whatever the fuck they call it over there. And they have Harper, or not Harper, what's his name? Trudeau running, and he's supposedly like the conservative knight that's going to be legalizing pot, maybe, because now he's saying that he smokes it a little bit, maybe, but never with Mark Emery. I don't know. Everything's muddled over there, but the Cannabis Party is just waiting for Mark to come back and see what happens there, because he's kind of a He's kind of like me. He's like a loose cannon. Yeah. This WeedPornDaily is just nodding. From High Times, and we've seen this kind of article a couple times before. I've reported on a couple of cannabis colleges opening up across the U.S. But get licensed to work with marijuana. For the ambitious cannabis lovers searching for an opportunity to transform their passion for pot into a career, there is a new marijuana trade school set to open up this fall that plans to offer higher education by awarding graduates a certificate to work in the marijuana industry. The Northeastern Institute of Cannabis, which is located in Natick, Massachusetts, is a cannabis college founded by activist Mickey Martin, who, in addition to working as a consultant for various marijuana businesses, recently published a book entitled Medical Marijuana 101. The school will offer a comprehensive 12-course program that will guide students through the many facets of the marijuana industry, including a course on cannabis cultivation, business, science, and other topics needed to work in the field, so to speak.
Oh, this is so concerning.
So to speak. But
can you just give me like a little footing? What's the situation in Massachusetts as is?
Massachusetts? Let's go over. You go over to weedporndaily.com/pot primer. Or actually, you can just go up to the top, and we have it in the FAQ section. Which one was it? It's the cannabis MMJ map.
And law.
And law. The law.
There you go, Massachusetts.
So in Massachusetts, you can have a 60-day supply for personal use per question 3. If you have a medical marijuana card, of course. So they have their own program there. So you'll be able to go to college there, and then once you get out, you'll be able to maybe enter the Massachusetts medical marijuana program. Obviously, they would probably cater it, or have a course or two to introduce you to that.
They have
a decriminalized as well, so they're pretty straight over there. You could go over there and not even have your medical marijuana card, get busted for weed, and just pay a fine. What's up? $250 fine. What's up? Freedom.
But interesting.
Yeah, another cannabis college. People, it's a common question that I get in the ask box. You know, where can I go to learn about weed, or what? You know, I'm in high school and I want to go to college. You know, what kind of decision should I make? You know, maybe you should go to a trade school if you're really interested in getting into the marijuana industry. That would be one of the fastest ways for you to get into it if you have no connections and you're in like fucking like a state on the list there that wasn't medical, recreational, or even decriminalized. Texas, I'm talking to you.
Bang bang. Shots fired.
Speaking of states,
And
where
shots
we have
fired.
archaic
Oh,
laws and fucking police state like laws and from Stop the Drug War.
.org.
Florida man killed in SWAT raid over small-time marijuana sales. A Tampa, Florida man was shot and killed by members of a SWAT team executing a search warrant over small-time marijuana sales on May 27th. Jason Westcott, 29, becomes the 25th person to die in U.S. domestic drug law enforcement operations so far this year. According to the Tampa Bay Times article, a Tampa police SWAT team executing a warrant for marijuana sales knocked on the door at the home shared by Westcott and his roommate on the evening of the 27th, but both men were sleeping. When no one answered, police entered through the unlocked front door. The roommate, who was sleeping on a couch, was taken into custody without incident, but Westcott, who had been sleeping in a bedroom, picked up a weapon upon hearing the intruders and moved toward the bathroom where he could see his surveillance monitor. Upon encountering Westcott in the hallway between the bedroom and the bathroom monitor, 2 SWAT officers opened fire, shooting him 5 times with a semi-automatic shotgun and a handgun.
Oh, so violent.
If you continue reading on, you'll find that the man was actually, he did have a gun, he did have a weapon to brandish against the SWAT team, but there were actually reports to the police station months prior or a couple weeks prior, something like that. Read more to get the finer details. But he informed the police that someone had threatened him and said that they were going to try and kill him and rob him. Someone who had attended one of the parties that he had thrown at his house. So he had been told by police, like, hey, lock your door and get a bat or something, like.
Oh, of course, they're just like, you just need to up your security in your house and whatever. Obviously,
not our problem.
Yeah.
Until it happens.
Well, not only that, but it's also they left the front door open.
Yeah, like
slip up.
Well, that just goes to show that the SWAT team didn't necessarily have to like knock the door down and make a huge scene to get in. They came in very stealthily, very quietly. It was almost as if an intruder came in. They didn't announce SWAT, and knock the door down and like, someone who's robbing your house isn't gonna knock your door down, isn't gonna like announce themselves, gonna yell. They were just doing it like a thief would. But they informed later that he was actually calling the police to let them know about the possible intruder that was coming to his house, and the police were like, deal with it yourself. So he went out and got a gun, or I think he already had a gun or something. It says in the article. So he just had it to protect himself from an intruder. So dude's already expecting somebody to come into his house, and he sees 2 dudes in the dark. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna draw my weapon. I don't know. What am I supposed to do? Lay on the ground and
like somebody has threatened to kill me already.
Yeah, like
yeah.
It was a pretty ridiculous situation. Apparently, if they contact like the mother or something of the dude, some family member of him, and they were like, yeah, this was one of the weekends where he was supposed to be taking care of the stepdaughter or some child. Like it was just
like so many terrible things could have happened.
Yeah,
and
they found 0.2 grams of marijuana in the house. It wasn't even like he was like selling sizable amounts. They get reports from like the cousin or somebody that they're like, yeah, we were just selling a couple blunts here and there to friends. Like we, didn't expect this didn't pay the rent. We're still going to work. Like we're not just big drug dealers. So it was really disheartening to see just the brutality that took place. People who are trained at these kind of operations, they can't see someone with a gun and possibly just shoot the shoulder or something. Not use the shotgun. Bro, don't use the shotgun. I got this. Or something, or maybe
shoot 5 times?
Use a flash grenade, like maybe use a different approach here. I don't know. There were so many things that sounded wrong.
Like
with
turn
this
the lights
tactically.
on.
Like, yeah, they were just from a tactical point of view. Like, unless this was a Splinter Cell game, everything was done wrong here. But this was a really prime example, the 25th example apparently, of someone in the U.S. dying of some kind of drug war brutality here. Hopefully this kind of stuff can end soon. People see the state of things. So moving on to the heart, the meat of things.
The big news of the week.
Let's bite into like the burger. You've been slowly sinking your teeth into this podcast, moving through the luscious bread. I know we baked it well, but there are plenty more things you gotta move on, and then you get to the kind of lettuce and the tomato, and you're like, okay, this is basic, whatever. They did a good job, organic, good. You keep moving, you hit a little bit of ketchup, maybe some mayo, I don't know, whatever your pref is. You keep moving, and finally, your teeth kind of hit that, those kind of molecules. Your tongue starts to interact with the pools of oil on it, and you finally got into it, the burger. Well, I don't know if you're vegan. I don't know if it's the pools of oil. I don't know if you get pools of oil from like
other
avocado black bean burgers, but you get me. Your tongue touches it, and it instantly knows the flavor profile. I'm gonna get this burger. We're here. Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw it. I didn't want to reblog it because it's one of those long posts. Whenever I do a long post, I just kind of let it sit and hope that you guys scroll down far enough to find it and get pissed off by it once. But I did a guide to Washington's recreational cannabis system thing. You can find it on weedporndaily.com/pot-primer, pot-primer. It has a list of all of our articles, guides, accumulations of scientific references and things like that. But this guide in particular breaks down the law for recreational cannabis, lets you know just how much you can possess, what the tax is like, the new established DUID system, as well as where you can buy legal weed. So let's just go over it a bit. The recreational cannabis was legalized through Washington Initiative I-502, which happened on November 6th, which after enough signatures were collected to reach the ballot, it was passed. Oh, I didn't write the date when it was passed, but it was passed. Yay. So with that, you could possess up to an ounce of dried cannabis. So that's like nugs, leaves, things like that. Well, dried leaves. 16 ounces of pot-infused solids, edibles, can of butter, can of oil, things like that. Well, maybe not necessarily, because oil isn't necessarily, if it's solid at room temperature, oil.
Okay.
It's getting a little murky here. 72 ounces of pot-infused liquids, tincture. So that's like glycerin, that may be some grain alcohol extraction, that may be can of oil to some extent, olive oil, things like that, can of honey. You can do a lot of things with cannabis, man. It's wonderful. Or 7 grams of concentrated cannabis, like hash, BHO, shatter, bubble hash, dry sift, all that good stuff. Growing at home, however, is still illegal for anyone except for licensed medical cannabis patients. So luckily, if you still have your medical marijuana card, you will still be able to grow your plants. You'll still be able to participate in your dispensaries. We'll see how long, though. They're really trying to crack down on that and regulate. And you will still be able to, I think, possess more than this.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. But the real knife in the back here. There is a 25% excise tax on each level of distribution, from processing to retail.
My
and
goodness.
You're paying state taxes on top of that. Like, because it's just any other product now. You know, like they have to, it's not a food good. You're not going to get away with that. You know, it's not a medicine, quote unquote. It's recreational now. This is just for fun. So you have to pay taxes. So whereas 2 grams of dried cannabis might have cost $30 before tax, aka $15 a gram, the price is about $40 after taxes. So that's like $20 a gram. So $20 a gram for tax weed. And that's if you're getting it at 15 a gram, because some places were selling it for up to 20 a gram or more.
That's so crazy. That's so scary.
But yeah, you can really dig into it. The first day, basically 2 stores opened up, and that was it. Top Shelf Cannabis and Cannabis City.
And one opened at what time?
Well, alright, yeah. Oh, thank you for bringing that up. Top Shelf Cannabis opened up at like 8 a.m. in the morning, or 8:01 in the morning, quote unquote, because they wanted to adhere to regulations, and they were trying to like get the computer system up. And they were in where is it exactly? They're not in Seattle. They were in Bellingham.
Yeah, because it sounded like Nottingham to you, I think, or something.
Yeah. But Cannabis City was the one that really was getting promoted. They were saying that it was going to be the only shop opening up. I saw a lot of people reporting that. It was very like, it was almost like they got paid off by this particular dispensary to say that.
Well, like there was an interview we heard, and the girl they were like, "So where are you gonna be this opening day?" And she's like, "Well, the only shop."
Mm-hmm. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And apparently the writer, or one of the key writers of the initiative, 502, Allison Holcomb, was there, and the chief attorney general or something of Seattle was there, and he bought weed, and that was a big deal, because he was like, yeah, you know, I'm a politician, but, you know, I'm gonna go home and smoke this when the time comes. It was interesting. Yeah, like I saw the cannabis report that the Washington chief attorney bought 2 grams or something like that, and he bought 1 gram to put up on a wall, obviously, and then frame it, and then he bought 1 gram to smoke or whatever. And they went and they asked the chief attorney of Colorado if he's bought weed yet, since it's become recreationally legal, and he was like, nah, but I'm elected by the government, and that nigga's elected by the people. So I'm gonna let that stand where it stands.
Mic drop.
Like, yeah, with that mic drop noise. Like, that nigga, it was so real. I loved it. But, yeah, Cannabis City apparently, we saw another article where they were going to open up at 12.
Yeah.
Right? And when they asked him, why are you going to open up at 12? The owner said...
that was just so offensive.
He said, because, I mean, it's for stoners anyway. They're going to wake up... If I tell them it's at 12, they're going to have to wake up at 6 to get here. I was like, what? What the fuck does that even mean, bro? Like I don't, like, it's one thing to say that, like, we're, like, lazy and we wake up late or something, but it's another thing to say that we're, like, so stoned that we're gonna have to plan accordingly for that. Like, oh man, we're gonna have to make a 6-hour delay because, not because of traffic, not because of something feasible, because I'm gonna be so stoned.
Going to the opening.
Some really big hijinks. It's like a fucking Cheech and Chong or like Dude, Where's My Car movie every time I get stoned, you know. Something unravels. Some magic cube that I have to find before I get to the pot shop.
The wacky coaster, can you
imagine?
imagine?
If you're interested in becoming part of this Washington program, licenses can be obtained from the Washington Liquor Control Board for $250 annually with a $1,000 renewal fee. And we also have a link to the official Washington Liquor Control Board website where you can find a FAQ and all the emails and all that contact information and stuff. But Washington, man, recreational cannabis, kind of like a silent fart going out there.
Like a wet silent fart.
Yeah. But it's going. You know, all this shit that I'm talking, you know, they were saying that they were going to sell out of weed, and apparently the stores didn't sell out, and they were able to restock accordingly and not have any significant problems with that. I mean,
everything was so fucking expensive.
Yeah, I was gonna say they had to jack up their prices though. Damn, dog. I mean, one place was offering like $10 grams for the first 10 or 20 people that came in, and then after that it was like fucking free game. It was like $15, $20 grams. So Washington. Can't wait to see some other states roll out the program. They say that Colorado was so successful with its recreational rollout because it already had a system in place for its medical marijuana program. You know, they already required every dispensary to tag all the plants, and you know, you had to say like if you trim like any little bit off the plant, you have to record that and then like eliminate it in like a certain way and make sure that it doesn't get used for anything, it doesn't get stolen or anything like that. And then everything has to be monitored by cameras and sent to the local like fucking government office. Like it was very
to get screened
strict,
or something. Yeah,
very very strict system in Colorado for the medical marijuana program already. So they were ready to roll out with recreational. They were like, okay, copy paste, just like with rec, you know, boom. And then with Washington, the problem is now that they didn't have a system in place. The fucking dispensaries that are active in Washington are like in the gray area. It's like pseudo dispensaries. They're collective gardens put together by caregivers, quote unquote, kind of shit. You know, because Washington law doesn't necessarily define dispensaries. Actually, I think it does now, but then it gave out the things through a lottery system, so it fucked anyone who was an established business who actually had a actual market base and some know-how. It just gave it to people
who were startups that recently applied.
Yeah. So that system kind of fell apart in Washington, and they're trying to just sweep up their mess while now legalizing it recreationally. It is just, I don't know what they were thinking. It's interesting now seeing the aftermath. But moving on to my favorite part of the podcast, where we just get to talk shit about the office stuff. Yeah. Need like an intro for that. Office shit. Ciao. We had the 710 sale. And even a wick sale over the weekend.
Flash sale.
Like a little flash sale. Went really successfully. It was funny, like the day after the wick sale ended, I got to ask from somebody that was like, hey, do you have any coupon codes for wicks? I was thinking about buying one. And I was like, damn, bro, you're like a day late and $1 short on that. But we had a very successful sale. Like we had
really busy weekend.
Huge amount of orders to put out, definitely. And
it was successful.
Yeah. I sold out of wicks that we had in stock, and I had to order more wicks and then produce them like as fast as possible.
And over the course of like 3 days, we were able to produce enough to
wicks.
ship. Yeah.
It was crazy.
Like it was like one day you spend a whole 8 hours
dipping them and just letting them like dry. It was crazy.
Yeah. Well, you drain them and you clean them up and everything like that. Yeah.
And then actually cutting them to the length of each one, I had to cut down, what was it, 2250 feet? That was crazy. That was a lot of fucking work.
A long amount of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you did how many 10 feet? You did, like...
6, and then I had to do 6 balls.
Yeah.
It was intense. It was a huge batch of orders at once. Yeah.
And we had to clip maybe like 200 to 300 tags to be applied for labels and stuff for the balls and the other like sizes.
And yeah, we had to do sock labels as well because we ran out of those and had to do new ones. It was just
a busy weekend.
Busy.
Yeah.
But now, luckily, we got a butane torch to help us with the wick process. Not for dabbing. No dabs here. But I'm actually going to be using it for
cleaning up.
cleaning off any excess like wax off of the wicks.
400 feet.
Yeah, the balls. Because I used to use a lighter, and man, that shit is so inefficient and so bad.
It just hurts your hand. It's just like there's so many levels of bad.
So many factors that are not good for it. So this is a very controlled flame, and I'll be able to get a kind of radial heat going on with it more, and it'll be nice. I'll get a lot of cleaner product out to you guys faster, more efficiently.
And we got that with a major coupon. Coop.
That was nice. That was really nice.
Got like $5 off.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
I told her like a couple days ago, like, hey man, watch out for any coops, because I really want to get a butane torch. And within days, you were just like, hey, magically, here's this coupon.
Yeah.
Out of the ether. It was perfect.
Yeah, I gotta love it. But so we got that. It was fun. Do you want to say what store we got it from? You want to talk about that experience or nah? We don't have to.
I guess. Bed Bath & Beyond?
Yeah.
I've never been in there.
And I found that so fascinating because I had been going there since I was in like middle school.
It didn't look like it didn't look like Click.
It 100% looked like Click because Click entered from the left side of the store, not the right.
I guess. Maybe I have to rewatch Click.
I remember watching that movie like on a plane like 3 times.
It looked like Michael's to me or something, or some fucking like craft good store that merged with like a home goods store. It was interesting.
But
overwhelming. Like we've been smoking this weed that's super cerebral and super psychedelic. It's like really, really heady stuff. And the kind of stuff that it makes you like I walked into the store and I just felt overwhelmed by everything. You know, like I would just, there was just so many brands, so many like colors, so many graphics.
Weird things.
Like it was just like floor to ceiling, everything saturated with just something to like stimulate my senses. And it was just so overwhelming. Just like, yeah. But we smoked some of that weed for the first time after a little bit of a tea break, and not getting weed for like a couple days or so, or a few days, and we didn't expect it to be that good. You know, like we've been smoking weed lately that, you know, we pack like a fat bowl and we feel like whatever. You know, like you kind of get like a little body stone, and the pain goes away, and it's good, but it's not like an enjoyable high. And I hit that weed, and we were shooting a video, and you know, I was like, oh man, it's gonna be great. You know, it's really funky fresh. It smells good. It smells fruity. It's nice. And I hit it, and the second I let it out, I'm like, oh, it's so deceptive.
I remember that. That was so funny.
It lied. It's a haze.
I remember so much.
And I was like, immediately, the second I tasted it, I was like, I'm in for a ride. Because I knew that the hazes are a much more psychedelic, much more heady high. You know, like Neville's haze, it's the pure psychedelic high. So I packed you a bowl, and I warned you. Or, no, you were going to pack a bowl, and I warned you. I was like, do not pack a lot. It's really...
And I didn't think I
stuff.
packed a lot at all.
Yeah. But you took a hit, and I don't remember what happened. You took a bowl. Didn't cough too much or anything like that. Nothing crazy. It was pretty smooth of a smoke.
It is a very smooth smoke.
Despite how much we're saying it wrecks us.
It wrecks me now. Like, when we started this podcast, I was totally wrecked.
But we were starving, and we decided to go make some pizza. And we always make like homemade pizzas with like a pre-made crust.
But we put fresh tomatoes, fresh spinach and cheese and
all that stuff.
And we put like chicken that we cooked.
Or pepperonis and toppings and all that. We customize. So we bring all that stuff to the kitchen, and I like immediately I start looking for something. I forget what I was looking for, but I just felt crazy because I couldn't find it. Like I went through the whole sink. I went through like the we have like a thing next to the sink with like dishes in it. I went through that.
What
I went
are
through
you
the
looking
washing.
for?
I think the top for the
Blender?
blender maybe, and I ended up finding it like behind like something like hidden somewhere.
Oh no,
Like,
you could. I
wasn't
remember
crazy.
you couldn't find it, and I lifted something, and it was
then-
right underneath it, and I pointed at you, and made fun of you.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It was hiding in the back.
I was
that
like,
one time.
no, I was like, oh baby, come on, and then
No.
yeah,
I'm gonna stand
pretty
firm
sure.
here, and I'm
Okay,
gonna say
okay.
it was behind something because I had to justify my craziness there, and then I finally found it. Like I had this whole thing. I was like, man, I am so stoned, I can't find this. Like I have reached the point of being stoned where I am dysfunctional. You asked me to do a simple task, find this, and I can't do it. You know, and I turn around and I see you, and you say, baby, this pizza looks really big.
We talked about this last week.
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
I feel like we didn't.
Yeah, we
I
did.
feel like we didn't cover this.
Yeah, we did. Because I even mentioned it. Or wait, did we talk? We talked about it with Andrea.
Yeah, we didn't talk
We didn't
about
talk
it on the
about it on
podcast.
the podcast.
She's like, this pizza looks really big, baby. Is this the same pizza we get every time? Yeah, baby. It's the same size.
I was like, I felt so little.
I feel so small. It was so priceless. I was like, it's okay, baby. I'm really high too. I'm really, really high. And we just had to have a moment where we just hugged and just acknowledged our highness. Yeah, accepted the highness. And just kept going with the pizza. But yeah, we were really fucking stoned.
Well, I was so stoned.
That was some good weed,
I remember
man.
I didn't mention Andrea because I felt bad saying that I felt really small.
But I know the feeling. It's literally like I felt like alien in my skin almost. Like I felt like the world was like bigger, or I was
Like imagine like this is a really shitty example, but like looking like as if looking like watching a YouTube video, like a fisheye lens video. It kind of feels like that, like almost kind of. Like I remember I don't remember if it was something that you couldn't leave the house in the morning. Or something, and I had to go to Publix. Or no, what was it? Oh, you needed to handle orders, and I was gonna go to Publix. You were starting the hemp wick balls because those take 8 hours. So you were like, I can't leave the stovetop at all.
Oh yeah, and you went stoned to.
I went stoned to the supermarket.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And that was the biggest mistake ever. Like I got there and because it's so sunny outside, so I wore my sunglasses outside, and I just left them on while I went inside the supermarket, and it was just so surreal. It was so surreal and really difficult, and I felt like...
Well, it was like packed too, right?
And it was
I can't imagine.
it was like packed because it was the... What was it that day? I think there was like something going on that day.
You just hit the afternoon like sweep.
No, it was Brazil versus Netherlands.
Yeah. FIFA.
Yeah. No, Argentina versus Netherlands. That's what it was. Argentina versus Netherlands. And so that they were like playing and stuff. And I remember seeing people in Argentina shirts in the supermarket. Yeah. But it was really crazy. And I don't want to do that again.
I've done that on multiple occasions, and it's just like I feel like the worst. Like I remember you saying that what bothered you was you thought people were looking at you the whole time, and that was something that I had to get over as well. Like it's like a very common thing, like stoner paranoia thing. But once you get over that, it's just dealing with people stoned. That's something that you can never like get over, like, 'cause it's just how you are in the moment, or how stoned you are, or how accepting they are, or not foreign.
What
so many
buy
factors.
recently? That was like 36. Were you there with me?
No.
No, I went to the
666.
no
The
30.
number of the beast.
No, 36. I went. Yeah, well, that was when I went food shopping, and I the cost of it was 36, and the guy was like, "Oh, look at that! Like you should."
Lucky number.
Well, no, it was some really tall white guy, and he said, "Oh, like it's like your lucky number," and I think he had like, and yeah, and then but he didn't sound like that.
Well,
he didn't.
That's just the affectation you just have to take.
And then he was struggling to say it and put it into words, but he was trying to convey like, "Oh, I should play the lotto," and I was like, "Yeah, I guess I should play the lotto." And then I was like, "Nah, you know."
Yes, yeah, right, yes, right, rash, Rocky me. Yes.
Don't do that.
Yes.
But we also got something in the mail this week.
Did we?
I don't know. What is it on the list?
Hemp parts?
Yeah.
Hemp parts. I haven't dug into that yet. I've been waiting to. Haven't had like a good shake to
Put it in?
put it in. Been trying to find an excuse to incorporate them, but they're so fucking expensive, man. I don't want to risk.
Ruining them?
Yeah. Like, that's one of the reasons that we haven't had hemp parts in the house for a long time. I used to stock up on them regularly, but the price has been slowly like raising over time. I'm not sure because of like market fluctuation, something I'm not aware of. I've heard of people on Pot TV discuss it.
On the Joe Rogan Experience discuss it,
Marijuana
right?
Man, maybe Joe Rogan, but Marijuana Man specifically on Pot TV was discussing it. And right now the price for 3 pounds, I think it is like $43 or something crazy like that. It's pretty intense. It's like pretty jacked up. And then for some reason I can get 3 pounds of hemp fiber for $20. Like half the price.
Well, fiber is something totally different.
And fiber is just like basically you're buying like ground up like hemp stock almost.
Well, it's also like hemp fiber. It's also dehydrated, so it's like it's not like a plant material.
And the hemp hearts are like seeds. Like it's very specific. So yeah, we finally got some fucking hemp hearts in the house. It's nice. I've been looking for a protein supplement, something to get me away from more of the animal fat stuff. We've been having a lot of
Red meat and stuff
a lot
lately.
of red meat. Yeah, I'm trying to get away from that. Trying to lean more toward the legumes and the
Legumes?
hopefully the hemp hearts.
Yeah. Well, we've been doing good. We got a lot of fruit yesterday, so that's
Yeah.
gonna be really, really nice.
Plenty of fruit. You can see that on our Instagram. I try to promote like that image that stoners aren't necessarily always munching out on like fucking Cheetos and nasty foods, that you can munch out on healthy
I missed them though.
organic foods. Yeah, we do that sometimes too. Like I posted the fucking like crazy ass pizza we did today. I'm sure that seems healthy by some standards, but gluttonous by many.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely we live really healthy. We try. We make our own like tortilla chips, all our own ground like seeds and things and meals and flours.
Yeah. Try to stay gluten free. Keep that inflammation low, yo. Yeah. Hopefully, I'm slowly trying to get my nutrition game up. Slowly trying to build up my recipe book so that I can do something significant with it on the WeedPornDaily website, maybe in conjunction with our sister site, We Have the Munchies. I've been holding back on those kind of projects for a while, but now that I have like a nice camera, I really have like no excuse other than lack of time.
Or just like your unwillingness to try new vegetables.
Hey. What we just had a discussion the other day where we were watching like a video of a guy, the guy who was eating pizza for 25 years or something.
And he also has diabetes.
Well, he had like he was born with it, I'm sure. Like he didn't develop it because of the pizza. But like yeah, he like doesn't eat pizza every meal, but he eats pizza at least like once a day. Every day. His whole life. And they
and he has like food aversion and he has to go see a psychologist.
Yeah, like he was walking to the supermarket, he's looking at vegetables and he's like, ugh.
I could never eat this.
Never eat this. And we were watching the video and I was like, man, this sounded like me like a couple years ago. Like,
it was really scary.
It was pretty intense seeing. It was like looking into like an old mirror or something. But yeah, like now I fucking eat tomatoes.
Oh my goodness, what a reach.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy. Tomato.
He puts half
spinach.
a carrot in our like chicken noodle soup and he's concerned about it being too much. Half a carrot, like half a normal sized carrot.
I put like 2 carrots in. She's over exaggerating.
But you still eat less than half of one.
But yeah, I don't need that much keratin in my diet. I already get a significant amount of it from other sources. Keratin's a very common vitamin. Just saying.
You're not helping your argument.
My case?
No.
Maybe I am. And the nutritionists out there are like, See, Oscar's making sense.
You won't eat broccoli, you won't eat zucchini, you won't eat eggplant.
I'm getting there. It's stages. Like my food aversion stems from my
You won't eat corn.
Well, I just don't like corn. I just don't like the taste of it. It just it's like that sweetness. I'm not down with that. Yeah. Like I remember having like a corn soup once. Ugh.
Oh, God, I love corn soup.
Oh, it's so terrible. Like the grittiness. It was like, why do I want this texture in my mouth? Why? Oh, and this taste too. Yeah.
It's so mean.
But we're gonna see, what was it, eggplant, zucchini. We're gonna try to like put those in the oven, fry some, fucking.
Because the only way I can convince him to eat them is like wrapping it in breadcrumbs and breading and stuff and eggy gooiness and flour and roasting them. Yeah.
You gotta take it down to the local McDonald's and have them dip it in their fryer.
Ew.
And then have me eat it and be like, okay, I guess it's okay.
It's so disappointing. We've been trying to step up our food game, trying to learn, like, be more cost efficient, stop spending money on late night trips, because late night munchies, it's gonna keep happening with us. It just happens because we work late, and we work late on like laborsome processes, and we just get so hungry
all the time.
Yeah,
so I have like a never-ending appetite. It's hard, weed or not. It's just like my body needs fuel.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And so we've been preparing meals that we can actually just easily cook off late into the evening so that we can just quickly go and just pop it in the oven and we're done, kind of thing. Pre-breading chicken and freezing it and like tenderizing meat before we like put it to freeze and things like that. Really commanding
it in a previous ask. Like somebody asked me, how do you eat healthy with the munchies, or how do you stay healthy smoking a lot of weed or something like that? And I told him, like, I just fucking freeze everything. Like I'll make brownies and I'll have them out on the shelf for like a couple days, and then I'll transfer them to the fridge, and then I'll throw them in the freezer. Or I'll make half the batch and freeze half the batch because I know I'm not going to eat all of it, and then have half of that batch slowly consumed and transferred to the fridge and then thrown out if I don't eat it all. Like that kind, like have a little system worked out with like every meal that I make. Every time I make like beans, it takes like so long to make the beans to get them right and get all the ingredients in, or soup, that I make sure to make like a couple extra portions so that I can put away. And stuff like beans especially, you can just freeze single portions of that and just stick them in the microwave. And
the same thing with rice.
Rice.
Yeah.
Well, rice is actually different. You're not supposed to
Not
keep
freeze
rice.
it, but I'm saying like I always put it in the fridge. I'll like
You're
reheat
actually
it.
not even supposed to reheat rice in the fridge or something like that. It's crazy.
Really? Why?
Yeah, there's some like microbacteria. I saw a
Interesting.
new thing about it. Yeah.
Oh, dang! That's so disappointing.
Mhm. But yeah. But I think it was also with like quick cooking rice or like that British rice, maybe packet.
Oh, like the packaging rice. Oh, well,
Maybe
that's
that.
like weird.
I don't know. I don't think so though. I think I'm confusing two things.
But
we've been prepping.
we've been doing that, and it's one of those
meals.
things where when we come back, we always go to a wholesale club to like get really cheap like fruit and stuff in bulk.
Yeah, people mock us and they're like, "Man, why do you buy so many groceries? You're buying so much." And I'm like, actually, like
We
not
almost don't
really.
buy enough. You know, we go like every 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks,
Yeah,
about that much, and we go to the supermarket once a week.
and it's not that we're buying like, oh, like, we gotta go back and get cereal. We gotta go back and get this. It's literally just us going back and getting like, oh, we gotta go and get fruit again. Like we've eaten it all. It hasn't even gone bad or anything like that. We've just consumed it all, and we need more.
Yeah, because we keep like berries that are frozen, so we can pop them into like shakes and stuff, and then we have like bananas that are frozen. We have big pallets
Yeah,
of
any
strawberries.
fruit that ripens and we don't get to eat it fast enough gets thrown in the freezer and incorporated later. But yeah, we're just constantly eating.
And like nuts, like what we
Nuts,
do
yeah,
is we have like a quick queue line for the nuts, and you kind of just pop them in the pan really like quickly with some seasonings, and you have like toasted nuts, which are a really great protein snack. Hashtag powerful.
Really filling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's possible to eat healthy and, you know, conscious.
It's really just a matter of what you stock. Because that's my biggest thing. Like, we were in your place, and fucking, you have Milano cookies and Nestle coconut dark chocolate cookies or some shit.
Okay, I'm gonna stand by this. All that stuff was purchased by my mother. Like, my mother stocks my, like, fridge and stuff because she's
Whatever, bro.
concerned.
Like, regardless, it was like haunting me the whole night. Like,
Oh.
I was like, it's there. I just want to go grab like a pack of cookies and eat it.
Oh, I
And
have.
then I'll go back and I'll grab like some more cookies. And then like I smoke and I like browse the internet some more. And I'm like, I think I want some more cookies, and I will go like get more. Like, that's.
I have to
just
put a
'cause it's
lock on those
around.
cabinets.
Well, I mean, I didn't get any. I'm just saying I could. You know, like.
Man, you have, like, no self-control. Like,
Well, it's not that I don't have self-control. It's just like I could eat all the time, so I need like healthy food to grab to fuel myself. Otherwise, like I stuff myself with the junk that I can grab.
Yeah. Because, like, my mom will just buy it for me, and she'll, like, say, like, oh, yeah, I bought you this, I
It's
bought
like,
you
yeah,
that.
little treat.
Treat, whatever. And I'm like, oh, great. Another thing that I won't eat. And then I don't eat it, and end of story.
Yeah, I would go through those cookies in a
You
second.
are the only person that has eaten those cookies. I haven't eaten any of them.
Really? Oh man, you don't even understand.
And you keep eating my gummy bears, which I eat when I
Oh
go to
my
school.
God. Like those things, like those are like a quick picker upper. If like I feel tired.
At least those are, like, healthy, like,
Yeah, I feel a
vegetarian, vegan
better.
gummies. Yeah.
I almost feel like I'm cheating and I should be making them myself or something. Because I look at the ingredient list and it's like 3 things. I'm like, fuck. Let me just like put this in a bowl.
I make gelatin myself,
And,
yeah.
Fuck. But
I apologize.
I'm a monster. I can't help it.
I haven't had an opportunity to. Yeah. But,
But yeah, that's what happens. Like, if I don't keep, I have to keep like almond, peanut butter date bars and like granola bars.
in the
like,
quick draw.
things like that, so I can just grab it, yeah, and grab a fruit and be okay.
Yeah. Or, like, you know, when we go out to, like, go do errands and stuff, you'll go and you'll put, like, some grapes in a little Tupperware, and we'll eat it in the car while we're driving.
Yeah, and I'll have
Or-
a granola bar with me as well, and
Yeah, bring a little, like, paper plate with, you know, granola or
perfect little
whatever we
on-the-go
have.
snack.
Mm-hmm. So we bring the snacks that we eat, or that we make here in the house, and we bring them with us, so that we're not inclined to stop by somewhere and pick up ice cream or pick up some hot, fresh cookies or.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
was so down for that. Oh, I was like, man, we should find like a bakery and get some like nice cookies.
That was
I've been
just
having
you.
so many like bad cravings lately, baby. You don't understand.
Yeah, and what about my cravings that we haven't serviced? Okay. Like I
Yes.
haven't had sushi in like over like a half a year
I
now.
haven't done that teppanyaki yet.
I know. Don't talk to me about like rejecting like my cravings, okay?
That's true. That's true. Your cravings are so much more like. Let's have like.
Like
a really
take me
expensive
no,
raw
take me to
fish.
like a bagel place so I can pick up a bagel with some like cream cheese and lox. That's gonna cost me like $3. That's not an exotic flavor, baby. That's like going down the block during breakfast time.
Kind of exotic. I don't know. There aren't that many bagel places.
There's literally like
Not
one
huge.
like within like it's right next to the Publix.
I guess. Whatever. I'll bake you some bagels. I'll get my yeast game going.
But yeast is so
Powerful.
difficult to work. Okay, we're like rambling on. It's like we've talked way too much.
Alright, guys. Thank you guys for listening. If you guys would like any more food advice, hit up Mrs. WeedPornDaily on Twitter, MRSWPD, or just check out blog.weedporndaily.com/tag/WPDFAQ, and you can find a list of all the questions that I've answered, and I've answered a couple food questions recently. Thank you guys, as always, for fucking listening. It's a fucking miracle, I swear to God. It's the fact that we're here, like I feel, I hate to use the word blessed, but I feel blessed to be here every day. I want to thank Jesus Christ, God
Please don't
Almighty.
stop. Please no. Please don't do that.
So thank you guys. I want to thank all the super stoners who have been listening, reblogging, liking, retweeting, following, anything you can do to support us, buying socks, buying wicks, everything.
Utilizing the sales.
Yeah, everything helps out the site. Telling your friends. I feel like people tell their friends and then their friends buy shit. I appreciate it if you do that. Make sure to tell your local head shop about us and make them stock our products. You know, why aren't you stocking Weed Porn Daily, bro? Why am I paying so much for wicks? What is this? I'm gonna go to Weed Porn Daily. Let them know. Let them know. And, yeah. I think that's it. Thank you guys for... Oh, yeah, we're on 420 Radio. That's the one thing I was trying to remember. We are on 420radio.org, and make sure to check that out. It is a cannabis radio network of the sorts. We're on 420radio.org/schedule to see what times we're on the live radio network. We're alongside Jorge Cervantes, Russ Belville, I don't know. I forget. There's like a bunch of other weed podcasts and stuff and videocasts that you can tune into. Check it out, 420radio.org. And as always, check out the Weed Porn Daily shop, weedporndaily.com/shop. And yeah, that's it. Take a hit, kick back, and watch some weed porn. Stay regular, super stoners.